Welcome everyone in the audience and who's watching online. This is the Lowell School Committee Candidate Forum. We are so excited to have this opportunity to hear and engage in important conversations about how important our schools are to us. So to begin, I want to go over the outline of this evening. I will briefly go over the forum rules, the format of this listening session tonight and conversation. We'll have the candidates introduce themselves, share some, and we'll ask some questions, and we will conclude with some final closing statements as we close out this evening. Also, hello everyone, my name is Ralph St. Louis. I am a teacher at Lowell High School, Lowell Education Justice Alliance organizer, and I am excited to be starting this session with us this evening. So to go over the forum rules, we have decided to focus on 6 primary guidelines for this evening, and that is equal time for all candidates. Each candidate will have the same amount of time to answer every question. Responses will be limited to 1 minute for long-form, open-ended questions. The quick round questions will be yes, no, and candidates will be answering by holding up a sign with their corresponding response. No additional time will be given to elaborate on those yes or no questions. Secondly, we have respectful dialogue. This forum is about ideas, not personal attacks. Candidates must speak respectfully about each other, their opponents, and community members. Third, we have staying on topic. Questions tonight are focused on Lowell, budget, transparency, council, housing, and education. Answers should address the questions directly and specifically. Fourth, no interruptions. One candidate at a time. Only one candidate speaks at a time. Please do not interrupt, talk over, or heckle opponents.
Sorry, just a quick correction. It's 2 minutes per question.
Oh, 2 minutes per question now. We have expanded your ability to answer, which is awesome. So 2 minutes per question. Next, we have audience participation. Audience members are asked to remain quiet during the questions and response. No cheering, clapping, or disruptions, so we can hear every candidate clearly. Time will be provided at the end of community engagement if time allows. Time limits will be enforced. We have timekeepers that will signal you when you have 30 seconds left, 10 seconds left, and the moderator will stop you if you continue beyond your time. This is to ensure fairness to everyone. And lastly, for the opening and closing statements, each candidate will have 1 or 2 minutes for their introduction. Okay. We'll have 2 minutes for an opening statement before the questions and 2 minutes for a closing statement at the end of the forum. And just as a reminder, this forum is being live streamed and recorded. If audience members need to go to the bathroom, you can find it behind the curtains right over there. And just for a consideration for our interpreters, right now we have Spanish and Khmer interpreters, so please enunciate and take your time in making your comments, although I know you have 2 minutes. So let's start off with our candidate introductions, and I'll start from my left-hand side.
Just so you know, before you stop my time, Zoe is on her way. She got stuck at work.
Okay.
She is coming. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
We go back to 1 minute now.
Last session was 8 candidates, and now that we have 4, you still have your 2 minutes. We really want to hear from you.
Okay.
Oh, and additionally to those of you who are listening from home, Zoe Dzinku will be making their way here post-haste.
Oh, thank you. Good. All right. Hi. My name is Sherry O'Connor Barboza. O'Connor is my maiden name. Barboza is my married name. And I'm running in District 3 for school committee. I'm also running District 5 for city council. But I am a write-in in District 3, which is Belvedere and South Lowell. I'm a mother of 5 children and 2 stepchildren. And my oldest child is 27. And my youngest is 5. We've been in the Lowell area in Lowell since about 1994, and I've had my children go to many different schools in the district, and I've advocated for many IEPs and special education plans and participated throughout the last 25 years, I believe. My older stepchildren, have participated in the adult education, and it's been phenomenal. We have wonderful teachers in Lowell, and our buildings are not what they should be, and I would like to help to support to make those buildings better, along with help to provide after school and before school daycare so that our parents can work. A lot of our parents are struggling just to make payments, and in order to support our children and make their lives better, we need before and after school care. So that's one of my priorities, along with supporting our teachers, having smaller classrooms, and having all the voices heard of everyone who lives in the community. Eu falo português também, e eu quero todo mundo ter uma voz. I want everyone to have a voice. Thank you so much, and I would appreciate your vote on November 4th for Sherry O'Connor Barboza. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Dominic Lay. I am running for Lowell School Committee District 4. Which is equivalent to District 6 and 7 of the City Council, the Acres and the Lower Highland. I am on the Lowell School Committee since 2018, I believe. So this is my 4th term. And, I've been working hard in order to bring voices from a different perspective. I've been trying to be as common sense, use my common sense, and try to help as much as I can. And I'm not really being put into place by any big organization or any big group. I am myself, and I do the best I can in order to help the children, the parents, and most of all, make Lowell School better. So thank you for having me here, and I hope to be able to continue to serve on the Lowell School Committee. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Connie Martin. I'm running for one of the 2 at-large school committee seats here in the city. I do want to thank the organizers here tonight. It's great to have this kind of event. They're kind of far and few between lately, so it's great to have these opportunities. Also for everyone who took the time to come out tonight. I've served on the Lowell School Committee for a good number of years. I can't help but roll my eyes when I say that. But I will say, as I attend meetings, today I remain just as committed and honestly inspired by the work that happens in the Lowell Public Schools as I did when I first ran. I think over the course of the last 20-plus years, we've seen some really remarkable growth in our district. But I freely admit that we are, the old line that we're never good enough. The work that happens in every classroom in the city of Lowell, done by frontline teachers, frontline administrators, is what's going to really determine the future success that our city is going to be able to achieve. There's nothing else going on in this city that has more of an impact on what we can look forward to in the future than the quality of education in our schools. Again, on the school committee for a good number of years now, I've done my best to approach every decision, every challenge that we've had by kind of deploying what we hope our students do. I do my homework, I do my research, and I bring my best decision making to every decision that we're called upon to make. Some of them are kind of big things that can have a huge impact. Some are very everyday, mundane things. But honestly, it's the collective of all those activities and all those choices that I think have defined me as a school committee member. And I hope to continue doing the work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your introductions. We're going to transition to our first topic, budget and priorities, and I will have my colleague here, Darcy Boyer, share the questions.
Hello all, thanks for being here. I'm Darcy Boyer, member of LEGIA, have a sophomore at Lowell High School. We're going to start out with your favorite exercise, the yes-no question. You don't have any opportunity to elaborate, you just answer yes or no and we move on to the next one. Do you see the thing in the, Dominic, you have it? All right, are we ready? Let me make sure that's not. I'm just going to see if Zoe is before we start. No? Okay. All right. Do you believe the City Council should increase collaboration with the school committee on funding priorities? Will you oppose cuts to classroom teaching positions in future budgets? Would you support requiring the Lowell Public School Finance Department to include an addendum in the publicly available budget packet that explains any positions being added, cut, or removed to a different part of the budget?
That was long.
I know.
I got lost.
We'll just move on. But there's a lot of these. So, do you support site-based budgeting? Hi. Would you support a policy requiring quarterly public updates on capital expenditures for the schools and unfilled positions? Ooh, this seems to be a two-parter. Should Lowell Public Schools publish an online, easy-to-read budget dashboard for families? Should school committee members be required to hold at least one public listening session per year in their district? Do you believe that one of the responsibilities of a school committee member is to advocate to the state legislature for full funding of charter reimbursement?
Just for, okay.
Is it your, yeah, for the charter reimbursement, to advocate for that payment? Okay. Would you support a written policy requiring all K through 8 students to have at least 20 minutes of daily recess? And finally, do you believe that all Lowell Public School students deserve fully funded and supported arts curriculum? All right, thank you. I know that's tough. Okay, we're going to move on to the longer questions where you have 2 minutes, and we're going to stagger. So, Dominic, you're going to start so that Sherry doesn't have to start every time. So the first question is, given the national push for school privatization, what is your stance on charter expansion and privatization of services in Lowell?
All right. Lowell, we do have charter schools in Lowell. I'm not against it. I do not want it anymore. We have it. It's good enough. It served the purpose. Whatever we need back then, I wasn't here when they created the charter school. But I think charter school does take money away from the Lowell Public School and creates some budget crisis that we have. However, we already have charter school here. It's good enough, and I do not want any more. So, thank you.
Thank you. Connie?
Thank you very much. I would say, as Dominic has mentioned, there are a number of charter schools functioning in the city. I have never been a proponent of charter schools. When they were first initiated, my biggest concern around charters was the idea that you were kind of separating out a certain population and not giving everyone the same opportunities. And I think that in some ways, in addition to just the straight dollar drain that they are on the public schools, they're also a talent drain, so that you have, there could be some extraordinary things happening in a charter school that you don't have the opportunity then to replicate across a district. So it really, I think, kind of sets up an us and them kind of a school system, which is the absolute antithesis of what public education is supposed to be. So I don't know if I'm directly on target with my answer, but if it is a question about wanting to expand charter schools, I certainly would not be in favor of that. Thank you.
Sherry?
Hi, so we need to expand Lowell Public Schools so that our students or their families are not wanting to send them to charter schools. Families are getting on wait lists for charter schools because, as I was talking about, they have before and after school daycare. Parents need to work in our city. They're trying to have a better life, and it's not, when a child gets out of school at 1:50, what do they do with them? Either they have a grandparent, they have maybe makeshift daycare. Also, we don't have languages at younger grades in all of our schools. We really need to implement the great things of charter schools in our public schools. So if we can do that, along with bringing back cursive and learning how to read a clock, when we bring all of those things back to our public schools, because we had a lot of them before, and then add on the daycare, then there's that blurring of the lines, because the money for the charter schools is coming per each child that goes to that charter school. So the money is following in that regard. Granted, it's a set amount of money. So if we can do better in our public schools and make them smaller and add on these different features and find the funding, then we don't have to create any more charter schools, because we're going to be a destination school, Lowell Public, just like the expectation is. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We're going to have the second question, and Connie, you can start. What practices do you use to stay informed about new developments in education and policy making?
Well, as I said, part of being able to, I think, do this role as a school committee member really does require you to do your homework, to understand what the prevailing changes are in education, to be open to hearing about new and different kind of pedagogies and approaches in the classroom, so that you can make good decisions when we're called upon to make them. So for myself, I do certainly read extensively, and I do my best to stay abreast of kind of the changing currents of education. I did, as a sitting member of the school committee, I did go back to school to get my master's in education administration, specifically because I wanted to be better at this job. And that really gave me some great insights and some great resources to use, whether it's hearkening back to textbooks and some of the school law books that I had. It has been incredibly helpful to have that really solid grounding in kind of understanding public education. I think, in addition to all that, the most important thing I find as a school committee member is being open to hearing from people, hearing from teachers, hearing from families about what they're seeing in the classroom every day. I've been really lucky. There are a lot of educators in the system who have shared their insights with me, shared their expertise. I've never been a teacher. I've never been in front of a classroom, and the world is better off for that, I assure you. But the people who do the work every day have been really generous in sharing their insights with me, and I think that's been one of the things that's been most effective and helpful for me.
Great. Thank you. Sherry?
The question's behind us, so you guys know, okay?
Thank you. Sherry has experience with this format.
So I do, I'm involved in different IEP meetings in my job field, which is really helpful because I am able to see what other districts are doing and how Lowell is great and how we can change things, how different classrooms are functioning and what works really well for our students. Being a city is really, it's wonderful. We have all these different cultures, all these different languages, and we also have a lot of children here that have special needs because people come to cities with special needs because that's where the resources are. So in regards to learning more about it, I've been in the field, I've taught in the field, I speak to the families, I see how the children thrive, I follow our different schools and DESE and see what's new, what's changing, and hearing that getting back to basics sometimes and not having a 2-hour block of ELA, it just doesn't work. So I'm aware, I'm listening, hearing what different countries are doing and what has worked, but wanting to move forward and listening how advances in different areas have worked really well for other children. But definitely, I don't want to piggyback on what Connie had to say about listening to the students, the families. It's just very important to see. It's kind of like our own reflective report card of how our children are doing. And if our children are reading, which is really important, and not just AIing it, we're doing well at different times, but we can do better. Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. Dominic?
So I do spend a good amount of time trying to do my homework, just like Ms. Martin, reading, and at the same time, I find it more enjoyable knowing what I read, that I talk to people, talk to pretty much everybody that I could speak to in terms of knowledge on the subject, and at the same time, I do also enjoy receiving phone calls when people have ideas and have a suggestion. Not everything that came to me is something that I do exactly what they want, but somehow put them all together. It gave me a very good information that I could use, and at the same time, I also like to share what I know, what I heard, and that way we have a two-way conversation. So when people know me, they want to learn something, they could ask me, and if I want to learn something, I could also ask them. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dominic. All right, Sherry, we're back on you, right? Okay. All right. The leadership of a school is key to school culture. Unhealthy and disrespectful working conditions for teachers and staff lead to bad learning conditions for students. What do you think the role of the school committee is in ensuring a healthy and respectful school culture and/or environment for our teachers and staff?
I 100% agree with this. The administration at the school can make or break our teachers and staff, and it's really important that we educate them across the board to treat others equally no matter what school that they're at, and respect our teachers. They're coming in day after day and working with our students, and they have no idea if that child's had a great day and that's just going to make the whole day difficult. So giving them that respect, honoring them every time that they get that support and that smile, and they need that praise, and educating all of the administration, the principals, everyone who's involved at the upper level. It trickles down because the direct service are the teachers, the staff, the paraprofessionals, but it comes down from the top, and that's even at central office, how people are treated, and it trickles down, and it has to trickle all the way down, or it just doesn't work. We've seen it time and time again. So they need to be supported. They need to be asked. The teachers need to be asked. The parents need to be asked, what do you need to teach these students? And we need to try our hardest to either give it to them or find a way to either fund it, get a grant, and get it to them. But the culture and environment of where you're going every day to work with our children in very large classroom sizes is just utterly important. Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. Dominic?
It is important to have a good environment in school. I've heard parents. I don't have any kids, but I've heard parents having 1, 2 kids, and they say it's tiring. Imagine having 26 kids that you have to take care of 6 hours, 7 hours a day. Couldn't imagine. So that is itself is hard enough, and to have a school environment that is supportive and it's very important, so that the quality of teaching it could be improved. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Connie?
Thank you very much, Darcy. I think that, the reality is that the school committee can only be so involved in that kind of process. We are divorced from hiring or, any kind of supervision of anyone but the superintendent. We really only supervise one person, and that's the superintendent of schools. And then the superintendent is responsible for all of the hiring and all the other kind of day-to-day business of the school department. I will say, as a school committee member, I've had the good opportunity to be able to visit all of our schools. And I will say not in the last couple of years with a lot of other things going on in the schools. But when you walk into a school building what the climate is like. You can feel it. You can feel it when a principal is taking you around that school and introducing staff and talking to students. You feel kind of what the overall culture is in that school. And I think we need to do all we can to kind of support building supportive, welcoming, engaging cultures, because that's where the best, that's where education can happen and be the most effective. It is a real challenge when, again, it depends on what seat you sit in. And sitting in a school committee seat, there is a certain amount of ability we have to kind of weigh in on ensuring that, schools have the right materials and supplies and resources. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the leadership at each school and it's the cadre of teachers at each school who are really going to set the tone. And all we can do as school committee members is support them in the same way that we ask all of our teachers to support our students. It's really a very similar relationship, I think.
Great. Thank you all. This was the end of the first round, so I'm going to invite Monica up. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thanks, Darcy.
Thank you.
Good evening. I am Monica Lundberg. I'm a member of LEJA and a parent of a child who's been in Lowell Public Schools. And those of you who've been on the committee before are familiar with my face. We're going to start with another lightning round. So if you could get your signs ready. Would you support reinstating the Director of Equity position that was cut earlier this year?
Wow.
I know that's really okay.
Yes or no, Connie?
I know it's hard. I mean, it's kind of not fair, but all right.
Should all Lowell students learn about the contributions of historically marginalized groups through the curriculum in their K-12 education? Yes, you definitely got to lift them up because we want the people watching at home to be able to see those signs too. Do you believe all Lowell Public School students should have access to books reflecting a variety of races, cultures, genders, family structures, abilities, and sexualities? Should hiring and retaining a more diverse teaching staff be a top priority for the district? Should Lowell adopt a district-wide equity audit every 3 years? Should the school committee require that software being considered for curriculum use be evaluated for accessibility, including the ability to implement common accommodations? All right, now we're going to move to the open-ended ones. As you may have guessed from those questions, this set of questions focuses on equity. The first question, and we're going to be starting with Connie.
Glad you told me.
A recent audit found that DESE has failed to respond to IEP compliance complaints adequately. What is the school committee's role in holding the district accountable? How can Lowell Public Schools improve the way disabled students are supported?
You know, the requirements for all of our special ed students are very clearly determined by law, and it's our responsibility to meet those. And some of the most challenging are the kind of timing of getting IEPs done in a quick enough fashion, getting that information and pulling together plans for students moving forward. And my sense is that has been where a large part of our challenge has been, in the kind of administration aspect of this. We had in our last, not this current school year, but last school year, had asked the special ed department to pull basically audit information for us so that we could see what our timing was and where we were falling down. The committee has made investments in staffing in special ed. I don't pretend that we're done. I don't pretend that we've really accomplished our goal. We do have a special ed subcommittee that I think could be engaged more in this effort. Certainly something that you know I'd be happy to be part of. I'm not on that committee in this. I haven't been assigned to that committee during this term, but I do think that it's an area where we have a moral job to do in ensuring that our special ed students receive what they need when they need it.
Sherry?
Hi, thank you for the question. So you're talking about the audit, and it's supposed to be 60 days for a PRS complaint that you're supposed to have an answer, it's supposed to be resolved, and it's taking a year and a half. So during that year and a half or more, our children are without IEPs or without free and appropriate education as defined by the law. So another part of it is that many children, it takes them 3 times to receive a 504 or an IEP. And it's the squeaky wheel getting oiled. It's the constant nagging and constant asking. We have Child Find to find children that need, teachers and other people can say, this child needs to be assessed and help to find these children. And that's why maybe they're having disciplinary actions. There's mental health going on. So we need to identify these children, and that's part of it, and it won't have to go to the fact of filing a PRS complaint that doesn't get resolved for a year and a half, and now we're just trying to play catch up. We have to stop trying to play catch up with our children. And if we can support them where they're at and give them the services when they need them in the beginning, then we won't be just chasing our tail trying to catch up and give them more supports because they're so far behind. If we can lift them up from pre-K and kindergarten, give them the supports through first grade, and we don't get all of our children right at pre-K and kindergarten, as you know, but if we can meet them where they're at and give them the supports they need when they need them, and ask the state and the government to give us back those reimbursements and actually identify those children, it would be really helpful. On the school committee, can I do that? Thank you. I got 2 minutes this time.
Done.
I can't talk anymore.
I think when we fail to help our students properly, that is we're disservicing the children, and that's not right. For us school committee members, we don't work in the school, and we don't know much about what's happening day by day in schools. So in a way, we want to know if something's not right, if something's not happening. You need your IEP, and school cannot provide you properly. You talk to the superintendent, you talk to us. That way we can talk about it, we can question the superintendent on the floor. So that way we can have proper education for the kids. You know, special needs is something that that we all do not want to. I don't know what to say. It is difficult enough for the kids who have trouble learning, and to ignore them is hard. It's hard. We're not doing a good job. So if there are any way to help improve, then we want to know. I want to know, so we can work on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Question 2. Do you believe that conscious and or unconscious bias in hiring practices is a factor in Lowell Public Schools in the lack of racial and ethnic diversity in our schools and district? Please explain your answer.
Go first.
Oh, and Sherry, you're going first this time.
Thank you. I do think there's a conscious bias. I know that you guys just did an audit. I can't say what year, but it wasn't too long ago. I definitely think there's a conscious bias, and that our diversity dashboard that I know many people have talked about hasn't come up. That would be really nice to see what the actual diversity is, and not including how many paraprofessionals are of diversity, but actually of the teachers that are the ones that have received degrees and passed their MTELs in order to teach our students. So we need to do something about it. I know that there have been teachers who are qualified, who are multiracial, who are multilingual, and have been passed over for someone in the past on emergency licensures. So we really need to look into this and see, who are the people who are applying, and have that transparency. Transparency is a huge word I've been using all throughout. We have to have transparency, and Lowell is suffering with transparency. We need to change that. Thank you.
Bias is something very, very important that we need to work on it. I experience it myself all the time, every day, whether it's conscious or not conscious. I think it does hurt certain way, but at the same time, it's very difficult because you see it and you just cannot find a way to get rid of it. Even though we do have laws, we do have system in place, it is still there. And if there are any ways, whether it's professional development or any way to help shape someone's mind to alleviate the bias, I think that is something we need to work on all the time. So that's that is something we need to keep on pressure on. Thank you.
I think that certainly bias is part of our hiring. We are in the real world, and unfortunately, that is a real component of our real world. That bias and kind of the insidious nature of it that is part of all of our systems in this country. I do think, to get particular about the Lowell Public Schools, I do think that there is more we can do, but I do think that we've begun the process. I think that we've incorporated into our hiring process training for hiring managers so that they're getting instruction around recognizing unconscious bias and kind of ensuring that it's kind of driven out of their decision making. I think that it's by its very nature a very long process to be able to uproot something that has been part of our systems in this country for centuries. But I do think that the work has at least begun. I would certainly be a profound supporter of the more we can do to ensure that we are working every day to make choices in hiring that put the best educators in front of all of our students. And I think an important component is having educators in front of our students who look like them and have their experience and can connect with them in different ways. So, I think it's recognizing that we do live in the real world and we have to fight against that, but that the effort has certainly begun to do that.
Thank you. For our third question, Dominic, you'll go first on this one. The current federal administration has made a priority of dismantling long-standing educational protections for immigrant, transgender, and disabled students. They have also threatened public schools that value diversity, anti-racism, and equity, values that Lowell Public Schools has repeatedly reaffirmed. What concrete, proactive steps should the school committee take to protect the rights of our students?
If you could list all the things that are happening at Washington, D.C., you couldn't sleep just because there are so many things that is going wrong right now. But fortunately, we live in Massachusetts, and I think Massachusetts have a very strong common sense. So we do things that tend to be right. As a school committee, I think us right now, I think we're doing a pretty good job in terms of protecting and keeping everything the same as it has been. So whatever happened at Washington, D.C., we don't like it, and whatever we could do to protect what's right, we continue to do that. So, thank you.
I echo Ms. DeLay's opinions here in that kind of tracking what the federal government is doing is pretty chilling in these last with this current administration. I will only say this here in the city of Lowell. One of the first things that happened when the administration came into was sworn in, the Lowell Public Schools, the superintendent had sent out a message to our immigrant families and to the community at large, talking about that students were safe in the Lowell Public Schools. We had in place policy dating back to the first Trump administration that ICE officials were not allowed on school property without a specific arrest warrant, which was kind of in adherence to Massachusetts law, and upholding that idea that ICE would not be allowed on any of our school buildings. I think that in addition to that, we've gone to great lengths to ensure that we do have curriculum materials and language materials that are available. Having our, whether it's our leveled libraries in all of our classrooms or even just straight up from the main libraries in some of our schools, ensuring that we do have a real diversity of materials that celebrate and talk about different backgrounds and all the wide variety of diversity that we support in our schools. I think that this district certainly has taken a strong stand in favor of our immigrant students, our refugee students, and all of our diverse students from a wide variety of different backgrounds.
So there's multiple things going on in this question. We're talking about immigrant, we're talking about transgender, we're talking about disabled students. In regards to Lowell, we have such great diversity here, and I don't disagree with what anyone has said. But in the reality of continuing to try to create that culture of inclusion for all people, no matter what color of their skin, no matter what country, what accent they have, what disability they have, we can continue to try and create that culture so that everyone feels accepting, but also that all of our families get that information. Some families are more involved than others. The information is easily given to them, whereas others are home, they're working all the time. We really can create more of that culture through the family partners. When we brought that back into each of the schools, where we had the parent partners, I believe was the title, and that was really nice because we had different languages. They were able to reach out to our families or accept them into the building. So contacting them, not just at the upper hierarchy of, from the superintendent and, having his message go out, but having our families know that they are deeply cared for no matter what is going on. And we don't just have to put a color on it or a language on it. It's all of our individuals, disabled, differently abled, non-atypical, whatever that is. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I'm going to hand it over to Neela for the third section.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Neela. A quick little introduction. Another LAJA member, but I'm also a Lowell Public Schools graduate, very recently, just graduated last year, and I'm currently over at the Middlesex Community College studying to be an educator. So, so our third section here is student safety and family engagement, and just as the other ones, we'll be starting with our lightning round questions. So here we go. First question. Should Lowell Public Schools allow ICE access to student records without a court order? Nice and high, if we're able. Number 2, should Lowell Public Schools allow government agencies access to records pertaining to transgender students without a court order?
Can you just repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
Of course, I can repeat the question. Should Lowell Public Schools allow government agencies access to records pertaining to transgender students without a court order? Okay. Number 3. Would you support regular building safety inspections with public reporting? Should the Lowell School Committee make it a priority to enable and encourage student representatives to participate in school committee meetings to the fullest extent allowed by law? Do you support expanding translation and interpretation services at all school and district-wide events? Do you support expanding translation and interpretation services for multilingual students in the classroom?
It'd be great if you could.
And should translation and interpretation services be made available to multilingual students in school-based extracurricular activities? Thank you so much. We're now going to move into our open-ended questions with 2 minutes per candidate. Our first question is, how would you propose to improve Lowell Public Schools' prevention of and response to bullying incidences? What steps can be taken to improve parent knowledge of and access to existing bullying reporting systems, along with what changes would you suggest to improve existing systems? I know it's long and it's behind you if you need a refresher. Oh, so sorry. We are starting with Sherry.
Sure.
Sorry, I apologize.
Hi. So I had difficulty reporting bullying instances. So I went downtown and I made a complaint on the website as I was trying to report the incidences. And within a day, there was this magic button that was very clear on this is how you report a bullying instance. It was very much ambiguous, like you didn't really understand what you were doing, and it changed, and it's been changing. And now if you go to each of the web pages for the schools, there is a way to report the bullying. In regards to the process, there's an investigation that's done, and it is actually done in a very timely manner, so I do applaud Lowell Public Schools on that. The results of it aren't necessarily what you would hope, and that would be saying that it's retaliation when in fact it's just another child with possibly a disability that is trying to parrot their peer. So we do need to educate the families and our students. We don't want our students to feel like they're constantly victims, so we do want our students to be resilient. But at the same time, we need to be intolerant to this type of behavior that can go beyond, particularly at the high school. And when you're feeling that unsafe in middle school and in high school, we need to address it immediately and have very clear steps and let the parents know those very clear steps of how to go through that process to avoid it escalating even further. Thank you.
I think bullying is very dangerous, and I had to commend the current staffs and previous staffs who have been working on this bullying issues for many, many years, and it has been improving. However, it is one of those things, just like bias. Somehow, it's always there, and it's very difficult to get rid of. And in terms of saying, you ask what steps necessary to change. I think if you ask the schools, the superintendent for a report on how many bullying happens for each school, you probably see you probably get an X number of times that happen. But if everybody that reported bullying in those schools and you ask them to give you a report, I would say it would be X plus Y. So I would think, somehow I think that the number of the incident and the number of incidents reported may be different, and it may be less. So I think if you want to have a policy that improve, I think we need to be able to record, somehow find a way to record the incident that the school report and the incident that the victims report, and then you could see the difference. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to.
Come sit.
Yeah.
Come sit.
How are you? It's good to see you.
So we'll have Connie answer, and then we'll just bounce right over to Lily. And I have no problem repeating the question if you did.
I think bullying is a huge issue. It's a huge issue in Lowell Public Schools. It's a huge issue in our nation. And I think that we are all trying to find the balance to be able to resolve these issues. I think in a lot of cases, as has been said, there are investigations that happen. A lot of times the results of those investigations can't be shared. So it can be a very dissatisfying process. where, the results simply can't, because of privacy issues and a million other things that may go on, that I think in many cases parents are left dissatisfied with the process because they simply can't be privy to what has actually happened. I think that some of the best work that's happened in Lowell Public Schools has been the establishment of kind of restorative justice models at the high school, where we had students who were going through training to be able to help resolve these types of issues. And I mean, that's more of a high school response, some middle school, but really more at the high school level. And I think that ensuring that parents, at the very least, have the opportunity to share their experiences, report these incidences so that staff can get involved, and can try to alleviate these situations. But I wish I had a silver bullet, kind of answer for this one. But the reality is, again, we live in the real world, and this is a reality of our world. It was a reality of our world before social media. It's only become more pronounced now. Okay, I knew I was getting close. But really it is, the systems are in place for parents to take advantage of, and I would certainly encourage them to do that. Thank you. That's the first buzz I've gotten. I've done pretty well.
So, thank you for coming.
Recording. Go live.
We would like to give you like 30 seconds to introduce yourself, and then we can go straight into the question, which you will have 2 minutes to answer.
First of all, I want to apologize and thank everyone here. I apologize for being late. I actually was in Westford prior to, earlier today I was in Boston. I was at a food bank and I volunteered there. However, I also met with a bunch of hospitals and some of the assisted living facilities. And then I came back to my office in Westford, where I am now. First of all, my name is Zoe Zaniku. I'm running for school committee at large. And I was busy trying to figure out my contracts so that I can get folks working within our community. So that being said, I had some wonderful folks that reminded me about the debate this evening. I had on my calendar, which I love, CNAG, which is the Lowell Neighborhood Committee meeting, that I was going to be late to, and thank goodness I was reminded about tonight, because I feel like it's very important for us to be here, whoever is running, even if it's only for a finite amount of time. That being said, for this question, I quickly just read it, and I want to remind folks that know me, and then also introduce myself for folks that do not know me. My name is Zoe Zaniku. I have 2 children that I have raised primarily as a single mother, and both of them went to parochial school, and then one actually graduated from Lowell High School, as I did. I went throughout the entire 3rd through 12th grade in Lowell Public Schools. I cherish Lowell. I am a public servant first, community person first, and the reason why I have jumped into this race with having originally run, some of you know me, a few years ago for state rep, but now coming back to school committee is because I worked for Lowell Public Schools, right? So, really quickly, my answer to this question would be twofold. Number one, we need to get families involved, and how we get families involved would be through what we call school site councils. Now, school site councils are a mandatory body of folks that need to be represented within every single schools. And I just got 30 seconds, but I'm going to do it in 30 seconds. Now, listen, So school site councils are they are a body where basically they should be informed in and part of the school committee as well as the community in and of itself, where it's made up of the principal, the parents, some of the actual students, and then some of the
I apologize, that's time.
the things. And so just give me 5 seconds. So with the school site councils, they talk and deliberate about how to spend the money. So I am all about transparency for bullying in specificity. I used to be part of a
sorry
now
to cut you
defunct,
off. We have to move on to the next question. I apologize.
now defunct department.
We do have time for closing remarks. So,
Okay, so please stay with me because we do not have the equity department anymore, who used to look at some of the bullying things that, as well as reports that used to come in. So
I am so sorry.
I will now be quiet.
Thank you. We will have time after this session together for a meet and greet, so there will be more opportunities to share. Can you go to the next question?
yes. Okay. Our next question for our candidates to answer is, as you had mentioned, school site councils are powerful and legally required tool for parent voice in public schools. Implementation of school site councils varies significantly across the district. What steps would you take to ensure that all Lowell public schools have robust functioning school site councils? And we will start with Dominic.
In order to have a robust school site council, I think we do have, every school, we do have one. But in order to make sure that they have a robust, I think somehow we need to find a way to engage the parents because those the members who are members of the school site councils, they are the parents of the students who go to that school. So I think it is important to find a way to engage the parents with the schools and find the way to fund the school for that activity. So, thank you.
I think with our school site councils have seen an ebb and flow certainly over the years. I think through the pandemic, it was just devastating for the way whether it was the citywide parent council or the individual school site councils, it just became, again, it was a difficult time and it was a challenge to keep them kind of up and running. So I think we're still kind of working our way back from that. I will say one of the ways that I think the school committee and the administration can ensure a really robust relationship with the school site councils is to give them real work. And I think that's something that's happened through our Fair Student Funding mechanism, which has given the school site councils the ability and the responsibility to directly spend education dollars on their school site, whether it was making decisions on having an additional ESL teacher or having an additional social worker or things like that, so that the school site councils really are charged with real work. It's not, and I don't mean to make light, but it's not bake sales and it's not field trips. It's about making real world decisions about the quality of education in these children's schools. So I think that's the thing that the school committee and the school department has done to most support that, is to, again, give substantive responsibility to those committees. And I think, admittedly, we're coming back from a pandemic kind of malaise, but I think we're moving in the right direction by charging the committees with real responsibility. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Shari Barboza. I'm running in District 3 for school committee. And so you have Belvedere there, and you have South Lowell, which is it's actually a whole bunch of districts as far as I can see. South Lowell, you have many separate little districts in there. So my point of saying that, and you have the whole city, is that there isn't equality, and we're not going to have equality across the district. I've come to that realization. We need to strive for it, though. So when you have a school psych council at one school and the people running it or trying to get, to be a part of it are presidents of banks, and I was like, wait, what school is this? Like, what is going on here? Whereas you have another school where the parents are all immigrants and they're working every day and they have so much going on. So because we don't have the diversity, truthfully, across the district, it makes it really hard for the school site councils and I'm thinking across the district, to be functioning as well as we could. We did start to have them function well in various districts before COVID. Various schools before COVID. But it would be really nice to have that change and have that voice for everyone at every school so that, yes, maybe one school is going to focus on some type of art, whether it be ballet, just throwing that out there. But another school will be focused on, a different type of art or languages. We could have a school with languages at it. So we can have that happen. It's not happening, and we need to cultivate that to happen by having that diversity across the district. Thank you.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Zoe Zaniku. I'm running for school committee again at large. For this question, I kind of started to answer it prior, but what I wanted to really make a distinction on is that school site councils are incredibly important. This is what makes some of you are older, some of you are younger, but this is what makes the distinction in terms of being committed as well as the school and home partnership work. The school site counselors are built upon staff at the school, principals, paras, people that work there, but it's also parents, students, as well as just random community members, even if you do not have a child at the school. And so what happens is those like-minded or unlike-minded people come together, and they are supposed to be a diverse subsect of the population in terms of who the schools are made up of, and they come to a decision about how money is spent within their schools. And so this is where, if you are looking for transparency, this is where your voices may and can be heard. And what I was saying earlier about bullying is what I would like to also set up a hierarchy, which every school would have something like a school site council, but it will be a bullying representation of the school in order to answer to any kind of bullying issues or things that come up, because it's made up of schools, home, as well as community. Thank you.
Thank you. And for our last question for this section, it says, as we have seen with the mold problems at the Pawtucketville and broken elevators at the Bartlett School, building safety and maintenance is a recurring issue in Lowell. Many constituents feel that the city has not been sufficiently responsive to complaints. What steps would you take to restore trust that our city's school buildings are habitable and that maintenance issues will be addressed in a timely manner, along with what should be the school committee's role in ensuring these problems are addressed? And we will be starting with Connie.
Okay. Thank you. I need you to remind me. I think that this is not new. This is conversations that have been going on for a very long time. And I think it's the reality that our school buildings over the last 20 years have simply not been maintained at the level they should be. I think the challenge, and it's the city is responsible for the maintenance of our buildings. We all recognize that, and we recognize that the city has had huge challenges. So I don't think it's a matter of not caring or neglect or anything like that. It's a matter of, in a world of increasingly challenging priorities, I think, unfortunately, the kind of general maintenance at our schools has not taken a front seat, which is unfortunate. I do think that the committee, and certainly from the council side as well, we've tried to take steps to bring together both bodies to be able to discuss this. Both have facilities subcommittees that we have struggled to meet, but I am hoping that we are on track now. We have a meeting coming up. I was just getting the notices today. We'll be discussing how we set priorities for the kind of capital investments that are happening in our schools. We're hearing too about challenges at the Bartlett, inappropriate kind of situations where we don't have appropriate accommodations for students, where something as simple as a parking lot can't be improved to the, so that students and staff and families can use it effectively and safely. So I think that that's on our docket to discuss and try to move forward. And I think it really is critically important that the committee has an opportunity to weigh in on these priorities, and that they're not just kind of happening in some other conversation, that the committee needs to be part of it, because our role in representing the school communities is that important. Thanks.
So this is one of the reasons why I am running for city council as well, because the city council is the one that is able to put that funding where it needs to be to take care of our buildings. When we have schools where we have our vulnerable population and they have boarded up windows, shingles falling off, broken sidewalk areas and steps. I mean, I have pictures upon pictures. Yes, we have some newer schools and they still have issues. It appears in our great city where we have UMass Lowell with gleaming new buildings and we have all this new construction going up. Where is the give and take? Like, okay, go build a parking lot or go build something, but you know what? Help us build a new school. Help us maintain our school. So where is the give and the take? Where is that contract with everyone who is coming to basically take from our city? It almost feels like they're building something here, but half the time they're taking something away, and that's open space where we could have more schools. So if we can't take care of the students that are here now and give the students, the teachers, the administrators, a healthy workplace, what is going to happen when we have all of these developers produce more housing and not take care of the buildings? How do we have Middlesex Community College here, which appears beautiful, and UMass Lowell that just continuously expands, and our public schools are dilapidated? It just doesn't make sense, and change has to happen, and there is money somewhere. I stopped.
Me? Oh, okay, guys. All right, so like Sherry, this is another reason, Zozaniku at large, that I'm running for school committee. And where I've run for state rep before, but I thought it was this important to run for school committee, which a lot of people thought, hey, it's like a step down. No. Our students, our children, our faculty, our teachers, our administration, our workers, wherever they are within the school, are exactly what they are, which is the future. And so this is the most important, in my opinion, layer of our society that needs to be adhered to and taken into consideration, that it's that important. That being said, for me, the buck stops at the school committee. It has a lot to do with the votes that have happened in the past within the committee itself. And so if we do not want dilapidated buildings, if we do not want our children having substandard places where they are learning, when our next door neighbors or towns next door to us are having and building excellent schools, we as a school committee need to step up, work with the administration, work with the city, and then also work with, which are near and dear to my heart, the unions, so that we are all on the same page. And so, for me, if you elect me as your next school committee member at large, the buck will stop here. And I will make the hard decisions, whether I like it or not, in order to make sure that our children come first.
Yes, go ahead.
What happened to the Bartlett School was not good. I think even though the city has to take responsibility to fix it, but school committee also, I think we share as much. I don't want to say blame, but faulty that we didn't know that that elevator was still not operating. So I think that both the city and school committee need to do a better job in terms of make sure that everything works when the school starts. With that said, when I ran for school committee, 8, 9, 10 years,
10 years
ago, I remember one of the school committee asked for a report on the facility that needed to be fixed. It was like this thick. The printout was about this thick, and since then, the school committee has been working with the city, trying to get rid of, try to do what needs to be done, and I'm pretty positive if there was a report, we don't have one yet, but if there was a report need to be done, I think it would be a lot thinner. So we came a long way. There were a lot of things that need to be done, and we can have to continue to make sure that the facility are still working properly, and school committee also need to take responsibility, and we need to press on the city to make sure that when the school starts, everything needs to be working properly. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of your answers. So that is the final question, and I'm going to hand it back over to our wonderful MC, Ralph.
Thank you.
I'd have to echo Neela's comments. Thank you for your passionate and thoughtful answers. And I want to provide y'all one last opportunity to provide a closing statement before our meet and greet. You'll have 2 minutes to share your final thoughts and lasting impressions that you would like our audience to know about you and your priorities. And we will begin at, I was not paying attention to the sequence, so I'm going to say Dominic? No?
Connie started last.
Connie?
Should be Sherry. Okay. Sherry, okay.
Oh, Sherry. Please, thank you.
I feel like I'm constantly starting. That's okay. Hi, my name is Sherry O'Connor Barboza, and I'm running for school committee in District 3 and City Council in District 5. And I would appreciate your vote for both if you can, or one if you can't. And I've had children go through the school for the last 20 plus years. Our schools can be doing better, and our buildings can be looking better. The city is constantly trying to improve and make this a place that we love, but yet our schools are not completely in that direction, and I'd like to bring that change. I'd like to bring back cursive. I'd like to bring languages at lower grades, and a lot of people voice those same wants and needs for our students. And I'd like our buildings to be something we're proud of, that our families go to, that our children go to, because how we invest in our children is how we invest in our city. And I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Zoe?
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Zoe Zaniku. I'm running for school committee at large. I felt it was very important for me to run this race with everything that I have going on, because the children, as well as our society, like everyone that works within this community, is what's going to build our society going forward. That being said, 3 things. Number 1, I want to bring families back into schools, because the school and the family partnership is critical in order for the success of students. And so right now, I know with everything that's going on that has to do with safety, but there's ways in order for us to get around that. We have to bring parents or caregivers or whomever back into the schools and having them feel welcome. That means that, especially with a district like ours, it means diversity. We have to forward all of our information in various languages. We also have to encourage folks for coming into the schools so that they feel as though that they're listened to, heard, and valued. That's the first thing. The second thing is that there is a lot of bullying going on. So the equity, the defunct equity department that used to be there, that is no longer there anymore, used to really holster a lot of these issues that I don't know what's happening now. However, my solution for that would be to set up a partnership as well as a committee such as the School Site Council. But for every single school, they will have a bullying or issues committee that is set up with the school internal, as well as parents, as well as community members, and we listen to, as a whole, every single issue that comes into that school. After that, my last thing is that, please, diversity matters. We need a school system that looks like the student body. And then we also need a hierarchical system that looks like the student body.
Dominic?
Thank you. My name is Dominic Lay, and I am here to ask you, if you live in the Lower Highlands and the Acre, I'd like to ask for your vote on November 4. I want to thank you for your past support. You always have been good to me, supporting me to be on the school committee. I'd like to ask for your support again. And thank you for having me tonight to give me a platform, whether it's about bullying, about City Site Council, about everything that we talk about tonight. Those are only a few things that happen at the school. There are a lot more that we need to take care of, and I'd like to be back on the school committee and solve those problems on your behalf. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all of our organizers tonight, everyone who had come out tonight. My name is Connie Martin. I'm running for one of 2 at-large seats on the Lowell School Committee. I'll reiterate, again, having the opportunity tonight to talk about specific issues, specific challenges, I think that that's wildly helpful, and I think that it's what ensures that school committee members have and school committee candidates have an opportunity to really have to articulate where we stand on issues and what we think is important. I come to this work from a very kind of job-related perspective. In my mind, I apply for this job every 2 years. and I have to wait and see if the community wants to hire me again. I hope they do in this next go round. I certainly request for all of you to please consider me for one of your votes. But I think my approach to this work has always been very, it's a job to do. It's not a vocation. It's not a I don't know, big sexy thing to do. I think it's about the work. I think it's about doing the work on the school committee, and committing to approach each issue with your best common sense, your best intellect, and your best care and concern for our community. I say again that there's nothing else that happens in the city of Lowell that will have a bigger impact on our future than the resources and the care and concern that we bring to bear in our educational system. And I certainly would hope to be part of that ongoing effort. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for attending the Lowell School Committee Candidate Forum. Just as some final notes, early voting will take place on October 25th to October 31st at the Lowell Senior Center at 276 Broadway Street. If you are looking for some more information, please visit the City of Lowell's election and census page on lowellma.gov website. And if you are not yet registered to vote or would like to check your status, go to registertovotema.com. And you can check your polling location at wheredoivotema.com. With great appreciation of the candidates that have made it here today, we are in deep gratitude of you taking the risk to share your thoughts, to share your opinions, and be present for the people of Lowell. I'd like to give an applause to you to come here today and share that opinion. I'd also like to thank the co-sponsors of this candidate forum, Fortaleza, Latinx Center for Community Engagement, Lowell Alliance, Lowell Telemedia Center, Lowell Votes, Massachusetts Education Justice Alliance, Merrimack Valley Project, the Lowell Education Justice Alliance Planning Team, and those of you who are watching online and who attended in person, thank you for participating in the much-needed participatory action that we are doing here today. Thank you again to everyone who is here. We are going to transition to, for about 20 minutes, a meet and greet with the candidates. Please feel free to grab some of the snacks at the back table, ask some direct questions to the candidates are here. We have this time and we deeply want to make sure that it is best used. Thank you.